Welcome all of our listeners to the podcast. We have David Richardson from West Lincoln Middle School out in Valley, North Carolina. Did I say that correct?
Well, Lincolnton area.
Lincolnton area? Okay, perfect. Hi, David. How are you doing today?
Great to see you.
Great to see you as well. So, we want to hear about you, David, how you got into teaching technology for middle schoolers and also just teaching in general after working for Corning Inc. So, just a quick disclaimer for our listeners who do not know, Corning Inc. is a material science, technology, and innovation company that accelerates and transforms life sciences, mobile consumer electronics, optical communications, and display and automotive markets. So sounds like a really cool company, right? A lot of innovative things.
Yeah, it's great.
And we want to hear about your journey and how you became Mr. Richardson.
Well, I was with them about 10 years, and the industry was doing tremendously well. About 2001, there was a downturn in the industry, so we had really made a lot of product over quite a few years, and then our market kind of dried up, and so they started laying off a bunch of people, and I was one of those people. And I worked construction as just a day contractor. I'd go help people do various things, pour concrete, metal building installation, wiring, whatever it was. And I picked up a job as a school teacher and moved into career and technical education. So I've been a CTE teacher for about 20 years. I think just my 20th year. And I've taught a variety of different subjects in career and tech. And I think one of the most exciting, is the construction area. And it is, it's a technology. Structures are technology, all the information and the design. We think of architects and the project engineers, but it really goes all the way down to just carpentry, sawing lumber, measuring. All these things are forms of technology as well. And these are hands-on technologies, and they're learning. You move when you learn them, and students just love this stuff.
Absolutely. Sounds like a lot of hands-on and interactive, technologies happening and educational pedagogies, right?
Yeah.
I love educational pedagogies and I love the hands-on approach. Super important for our kids. Seems like you're getting it. On your LinkedIn profile, it states that you are the founder of Trades Over Grades, right? It's kind of like a pilot program. Can you tell us a little bit more about Trades Over Grades?
Well, now, Trades Over Grades is kind of what I do outside of the school's time. So I talk with people, I speak, I work with different groups. It could be statewide, it could be local groups, about how do we change the education culture. How do we change what's taught in the schools, and what are we focusing on? So right now, a lot of our focus is really on educational data. We teach kids all year, and then they take a standardized test at the end of the year, and that creates data, and then we track that data. And I don't think that's very successful. From my standpoint, I want to create kind of successful students. And what is a successful student? Well, that's somebody that has a skill set. That's somebody that was able to learn the basics that they need to be successful. So, and a lot of times, taking tests and having grades doesn't really even factor into that. And that's why I focus a lot more on trades and the success that those trades bring rather than just having grades. And I think I work with a lot of people, and I'm on LinkedIn and we across the nation. And I think we're seeing a real shift, starting to see this shift taking place. The culture, the education culture, still wants to stay in their current policy, and it's a one-size-fits-all policy. And of course, you know what it is. It's everybody goes to college, and if you're not college material, then and back when I was in school, you were considered the slow learners, and we put the slow learners into vocational tech programs, and that's kind of where a lot of the stigma came from, and that stigma is still out there today. But it's not true, and that's again something that we're working to change.
Absolutely. And I'm sure, it seems like you're going down the right path and it's definitely going to change. There's a lot of That stigma is changing, right? We're learning that the trades hands-on is the future, right?
Right.
So can you take us just through your day by day of the trades over grades? So what do the students do? Just take us kind of like if you were taking us through the shop.
Yeah, now, like I said, so our sixth graders, we focus on the basics, really the basics. Again, it's tape measure. We do a lot of measurement exercises. We actually measure lumber to determine, what's a 2x4 versus a 2x6 or a 1x4, because a lot of these kids have never seen any of this stuff before.
Right.
We'll drive 70 or 80 pounds of nails, just driving nails. And again, hammer control, nail control, how to be successful doing that. Then we move over to get measuring again and using a square to square off our lumber. And then we pick up a handsaw and we cut. And we'll spend quite a few days just cutting lumber. And then eventually we get to the point where we lay off. We'll frame a small section of wall. And we'll do some basic wiring. So we'll study some wiring principles and some materials and tools and wiring. And eventually we'll wire our wall and put some outlets in it and a light switch and a socket. And at the end of the semester, they've built a small wall. And they can turn the light switch on and off and turn the bulb on and off. So, and that's what we do in the sixth grade. Seventh grade and eighth grades, we kind of look to do more project stuff. We also look at some careers. If you're going to be in a particular career, what's the type of education that you need? Now, I'm not against college, don't get me wrong, but not everybody has to go to college. If you're going to be an architect, okay, I understand. Or an electrical engineer, yeah, you may need some college, but a lot of times maybe it's a 2-year degree, maybe it's an apprenticeship. Maybe it's several credentials that you put together, and we need to, we need to have the parents and the community, as well as our employers, able to put all these different ways to become successful together, and that's kind of what we look at in the class. If you're wanting to be working on this level, can you get all that training in high school, or do you need some post-secondary education? So that's kind of what we focus more on in the 7th and 8th grade.
Wow. A lot of great stuff happening. So this pilot program, do you see yourself, do you see it expanding? Do you see it expanding across? Like, is your goal to keep it within just your school system, your public school system, or do you want that to expand to other states, other towns?
Yeah, like I said, I think, if we can use this as a model, I think we can put it in other schools. And I think, and really, this model could be used for manufacturing. So if you're in an area, which we have a lot of manufacturing in our area, but we also have a lot of construction. So the model could be used in many different industries. Now, one of the things I try to do is I try to provide the industry, such as construction, with a lot of input, and they've done great. They basically donated everything that I need. All my tools, all my supplies get donated because the industry sees that they need the workers, they need what I'm doing, and so they're willing to meet me halfway, and that's kind of what we need to do across the board. We could even do that in manufacturing, where we're starting to train some of these students, and I think the manufacturers would give us some of the tools and equipment that we need. And again, so like you said, we can not only expand it across the state or the country, but we can also do it with different industries as well. And I think the middle school's the place to start a lot of this stuff. So that's really what has, being in Corning, I'm hiring and firing people. Well, I hate to say that, but anyway, 25 years ago, I'm like, why am I hiring these people that can't follow directions?
Sure.
That can't read a tape measure, that can't do basic troubleshooting? That's 25 and 30 years ago, and we have not got better. Matter of fact, we've gotten worse. So that's kind of what started this, quite a number of years ago.
Yeah. I mean, I'm embarrassed to say I work for Construction Institute, education.